how did your persona come about?
I don't know. When I first started rapping, I felt like I had to be someone. You know, like everybody was telling me, oh, be this way. You from Queens, be hard and like that. But that wasn't really me, and that's not who I wanted to be. And, you know, when I changed, like, the people who were around me, I just started being free. And I was like, you know what? I've always been animated. I've always been crazy. You know, I studied theater. I want to put that into my...
She went to LaGuardia High School, by the way, the same theater high school that Lourdes, Madonna's daughter, was going to.
Weirdo. Don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
Everyone remembers the moment everything shifted, when the music seemed to pause and the queen of rap, who built her empire on bold confidence, stepped onto a stage in Phoenix and did the unexpected. It wasn't a diss track, a shocking outfit, or a surprise album. Instead, Nicki Minaj made a move that shook the culture. She stood with leaders she once mocked, praised a president she once criticized, and drew a line that didn't just divide fans. It sent a clear message to hip-hop's power players: the old rules no longer apply. This wasn't a breakdown or a grab for attention. While social media argued over politics, Nicki was thinking ahead, moving with purpose while others thought she was just being loud. And if the past 72 hours proved anything, it's that the reaction only got stronger. This isn't drama, it's a statement. And the first myth to crack is the idea that Jay-Z's spot at the top is untouchable.
Nicki Minaj, she went on another Twitter rant, and she still got Jay-Z and Rock Nation in every tweet. She be wilding on them. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never seen nobody come at Jay-Z this hard.
Timing couldn't be more intense. Just days after Nicki's conservative shift, 50 Cent reposted her viral rant with a pointed caption: "I like when she get mad." Those 5 words weren't just a joke or a meme, they were a clear signal. If anyone understands the depth of Nicki's anger, it's 50, who has been locked in a long-running Cold War with Jay-Z for more than a decade. Now, with Nicki openly accusing HOV of playing a role in her career setbacks, from the title payout dispute to her Super Bowl snub, we're seeing this feud grow into something much larger. This goes beyond money or attention. It's about power and survival. Nicki's claim that Jay-Z offered her just $1 million out of a $300 million deal, while keeping the rest, isn't just a complaint, it's a statement that the rules have shifted. And if the past week has made anything clear, it's that Nicki is no longer willing to play by the old ones.
Well, y'all, Nicki Minaj is back on X, and she's coming for Jay-Z. So in a series of tweets, Nicki Minaj is claiming that Jay-Z owes her 100 to 200 million so far.
Let's go back to September 2024, when Nicki set things off on X. She wrote, "We've calculated about 100 to 200 million so far. Jay-Z, call me to settle this karmic debt." This wasn't a casual post, it sounded like a warning, mixing public pressure with legal undertones. When she added that the money would go toward her fans' education, she wasn't just being generous. She was casting herself as a victim of an industry that protects insiders and pushes others out. What made it more serious wasn't just the amount, it was the timing. The post came weeks after she criticized Jay-Z for blocking Lil Wayne from the Super Bowl halftime show, calling it an ego-driven move that denied him what he earned. Put together, a pattern emerges. This isn't just about Nicki's money, it's about control over hip-hop's biggest stages and who gets access to them.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce.
Then there's the Desiree Perez factor. The Rock Nation CEO has been Nicki's public foe for years, with Nicki accusing her of everything from blocking her career to causing legal issues for her daughter, Dior. But here's the twist. Perez was pardoned by Trump in 2021 for a 1994 substance conviction, a fact Nicki herself called out last July with a cryptic, "Thank you for your cooperation in this matter." So when Nicki suddenly starts praising the man who freed her longtime rival, it raises a question: is this a genuine political shift, or part of a bigger plan? If there's one thing we know about Nicki Minaj, it's that she never acts without purpose. And right now, that purpose could be shaping up to be one of the boldest power moves in hip-hop history.
So that's just competitive.
Competitiveness.
All right, so you and Diddy, you and Puff cool? No, I don't really rock with him. Okay, damn, all right. I didn't know what that meant. All right, okay.
Let's talk about 50 Cent. His support of Nicki's conservative turn isn't casual, it's intentional. These two have history. When Nicki clashed with Megan Thee Stallion, 50 openly backed her. When she accused Jay-Z of undermining her career, he amplified the message. Now, with his Netflix documentary on Sean Combs, 50 is positioning himself as an insider exposing hip-hop's elite. Reposting Nicki's rants isn't just trolling, it's a statement. This is bigger than personal drama. It's about challenging a system that, in their eyes, has kept artists like Nicki, and even 50, under the control of figures like Jay-Z and Diddy for decades.
Now, you know how they play. You know? Okay, you know what? We got to get the heat off of him.
Some people figured it out. Some people that's in the industry, they know what's going on.
But here's where it gets even messier. Because while Nicki's been firing shots at Jay-Z, she's also been quietly aligning herself with the one man who's made it his mission to take down the old guard, Donald Trump. And if we've learned anything from the past year, is that Trump's legal battles have given him a unique kind of leverage, one that could be useful to someone looking to expose the inner workings of Roc Nation. Remember, this is the same Nicki who once called out the DEA for targeting black artists while ignoring white executives. So, when she starts cozying up to the man who's made draining the swamp his rallying cry, we have to wonder, is she looking for protection or is she gathering ammunition? And then there's the Super Bowl factor. Nicki's fury over Lil Wayne being passed over for Kendrick Lamar wasn't just about loyalty, it was about power. Because if there's one thing Jay-Z's Roc Nation has controlled since 2019, it's the NFL's halftime show. And when Nicki publicly accused Jay of punishing Lil Wayne because of his ties to Birdman, Drake, and herself, she wasn't just venting, she was exposing a pattern. Because let's not forget, this is the same Jay-Z who allegedly pressured the NFL to blacklist Colin Kaepernick while profiting from their partnership. So when Nicki starts calling out house N-word things and questioning where the loyalty is, she's not just talking about Wayne, she's talking about an entire system where black artists are pitted against each other while the real power brokers cash in.
You know, Lil Wayne and sort of the things he's gotten into, the random things, run-ins with the law, whatever he's had over the last few years, that would not be typical of the brand.
Now, let's talk about the money. While Nicki has grabbed headlines for her political shift, the bigger story could be happening behind the scenes. Sources say she's been quietly meeting with lawyers, not just about the title dispute, but about Roc Nation's entire business practices. If there's one thing we know about Jay-Z's empire, it's that it runs on contracts that have allegedly left artists from Rihanna to Ye feeling shortchanged. So when Nicki talks about karmic debt and settling up, she isn't just asking for a payout. She's hinting at something far bigger. Because if anything could seriously shake a mogul like Jay-Z, it's not a diss track, it's a subpoena.
Jay?
Yeah.
At this point, I would want, why?
And that brings us to the biggest question. What happens next? If Nicki is serious about taking on Roc Nation, she's not just challenging Jay-Z, she's taking on an entire machine, with lawyers, accountants, and some of the most powerful figures in entertainment. But she's not alone. While the world has been focused on her political shift, she's quietly building alliances. And if 50 Cent's recent moves have shown us anything, it's that the old guard isn't as untouchable as it once seemed. So when Nicki stands on stage and says, "I'm not backing down," she's not just speaking to her fans, she's sending a message to the industry. And if the past week has proven anything, it's that the game is changing. The only question now is, who will be left standing when the dust settles?
Seen Puffy independent. All the people that got hated on in the game, look where they ended up. So I can see my future. I can see what's going on here. This independency is gonna be big. I'm gonna have my own. But this ain't to just target him. I just a book about my life, a movie about my life. Why?
Here's what's clear. Nicki Minaj didn't just wake up one day and start praising Donald Trump. She didn't suddenly call out Jay-Z after years of silence. And her alignment with 50 Cent? Definitely not by accident. This is a calculated move, years in the making. If hip-hop history has taught us anything, from Tupac and Biggie to Drake and Pusha T, it's that the biggest battles aren't fought in the studio. They happen in courtrooms, boardrooms, and the court of public opinion. So when Nicki steps onto a stage and declares she's done following the rules, take it seriously. The rules are about to change. And if Jay-Z and Roc Nation aren't careful, they could end up on the wrong side of history.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact.
Now let's talk about the timing, because that's the real giveaway. Nicki Minaj's political shift didn't happen randomly. It came right as the Diddy scandal was blowing up, right as 50 Cent's documentary began exposing the darker side of hip-hop's elite, and right as Jay-Z's own legal issues were hitting headlines. That's not coincidence. Nicki has always been strategic, and right now she's clearly thinking long-term. This isn't just another celebrity feud, it's a reckoning, and it's only getting started. If her financial dispute with Jay-Z felt explosive, that may have been just the opening move. The real fight isn't about money. It's about power, control, and a system that has kept artists like Nicki in check for years. That brings Desiree Perez into focus. As Roc Nation CEO, she's more than Jay-Z's right hand. She's seen as the enforcer, the one who fixes problems or creates them. And based on Nicki's recent moves, Perez now appears to be directly in the spotlight. This isn't personal emotion driving these actions. It's strategy. Because if you want to shake an empire, you don't only challenge the king, you expose the pressure points around him. And right now, those pressure points are becoming impossible to ignore.
I'm not going in there. I need a lawyer present. So I'm under arrest.
Yes.
But yes. Under arrest for what?
Stop filming now.
Let's start with the pardon. In January 2021, just hours before leaving office, Donald Trump granted clemency to Desiree Perez for her 1994 conviction in a substance distribution conspiracy, a case that, according to court records, involved moving serious weight in the early 90s. Pardons aren't unusual, but the timing here is crucial. While Perez was celebrating her freedom, Nicki Minaj was watching closely. When she later tweeted, "Thank you for your cooperation in this matter," last summer, she wasn't just throwing shade, she was signaling something much bigger. Insiders say Perez's pardon didn't happen by chance. It reportedly came after years of alleged cooperation with federal authorities, a quiet arrangement that kept her out of prison while others weren't so fortunate. If that's true, it raises a serious question. What did she give up to stay free? In hip-hop, where loyalty is everything and snitching is the ultimate taboo, that kind of leverage doesn't vanish, it gets used, and it can be dangerous in the right hands.
That's how she feels. She feels like blogs and online platforms don't touch what she's saying, and they don't cover all of her words fully because it's Jay-Z and Roc Nation.
Well, I'll tell you this, I have no idea about their business, but if someone owed me $200 million, then I would be in court, not on X, and I guarantee you if she ever took that to court, that would be a huge story.
Now, let's talk about Diori Perez, Desiree's daughter, whose legal battles with her own mother have played out in public. In 2023, Diori filed a lawsuit claiming that Desiree orchestrated her involuntary psychiatric hold, using her influence to have her committed against her will. The case was eventually dismissed, but the fallout was significant, especially once Nicki Minaj began amplifying it. Here's where it gets interesting. Nicki didn't just share the headlines. She connected the story directly to Roc Nation, implying that Desiree's actions weren't only personal, they were part of a bigger system. A system that silences dissent, controls narratives, and, when needed, makes problems disappear. Sound familiar? It should. The Diddy scandal has already shown that the music industry's top players don't just manage careers, they manage lives. And when someone like Nicki starts pointing that out publicly, this isn't just a feud anymore. It's a full-scale challenge to the system.
So, as we look at Jay-Z's life, he's a billionaire, married to Beyonce. Do you feel like he's truly reaped the karma of all his actions?
Where the karma is at?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. We don't see it. Nah, well.
Or do you feel like he ever will?
I feel like if you done people wrong, you know you done people wrong.
But Desiree's legal issues don't stop there. Remember the 2024 lawsuit from a former Roc Nation employee who claimed they were fired for refusing to take part in questionable financial practices. The case was quietly settled, but the accusations lingered. According to reports, Desiree and her team were allegedly manipulating contracts, pressuring staff, and using the label's power to punish artists who didn't comply. If that's true, then Nicki's fight isn't just about her missing title payout. It's about challenging a system where artists are allegedly forced into obedience. Dissent gets you blacklisted, and the only way out is to take the whole structure down. And, if we're honest, that's exactly what Nicki has been doing. One tweet, one interview, one stage appearance at a time.
Oh, I don't with horses.
Now, let's connect this to Megan Thee Stallion. If there's one feud that shows how Roc Nation operates, it's the conflict between Nicki and Megan, a battle that, according to Nicki, was never really about Megan at all. In her view, Megan was just another pawn in Jay-Z's game, a distraction while Roc Nation tightened its control over the industry. The timeline seems to support her claim. Megan's rise happened during Nicki's public fallout with the label. Megan's hits got top spots on playlists, while Nicki's were allegedly buried. Megan landed major endorsement deals, while Nicki's opportunities stalled. When Nicki finally confronted Megan on Bigfoot, the backlash was immediate, because in this game, you're not just fighting the artist, you're fighting the machine behind them. And Nicki, she's no longer willing to play by those rules.
But Nicki was tweeting a lot. One was denying a young black man what he rightfully put into this game for no other reason.
Which brings us to the Super Bowl. If there's one thing that shows Jay-Z's influence goes far beyond music, it's the NFL halftime show. Roc Nation has been the league's official live music strategist since 2019, which means they don't just book the acts, they control the narrative. So when Lil Wayne, one of the most influential rappers of the last 2 decades, was passed over for Kendrick Lamar in 2025, Nicki didn't see it as just a snub. She saw a pattern. Remember, this is the same NFL that blacklisted Colin Kaepernick while Jay-Z was making deals with them. The same league that, according to Nicki, denied a young black man what he earned simply because of ego. This isn't just about Wayne, it's about who gets the platform, who tells the story, and who gets silenced. Nicki is making it clear she won't go quietly. Here's where it gets even more interesting. While she's publicly firing shots at Jay-Z and Desiree Perez, she's also quietly building leverage that doesn't rely on old industry rules. Her alliance with 50 Cent isn't just about shared enemies, it's about access and power. 50's Netflix documentary, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, didn't just expose Diddy's alleged actions, it revealed how the system protects its own. If Nicki is serious about taking on Roc Nation, she'll need that kind of firepower. Because let's be real, this isn't just a feud, it's a legal and PR war waiting to happen. And if there's one thing 50 Cent knows how to do, it's turn a scandal into a full-blown movement.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl that is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
Now, let's look at the federal angle. If Nicki's claims about financial mismanagement, coercive contracts, and blacklisting are true, Roc Nation could be facing more than just bad publicity. It could attract an FBI investigation. And if the Diddy case taught us anything, it's that once federal investigators start digging, they don't stop at one target. They follow the money, the influence, and the paper trail. If Desiree Perez's past is any clue, that paper trail could lead to some very uncomfortable places. Remember, she didn't just receive a pardon, she allegedly earned it. If Nicki's team is smart, they're already exploring what she may have given up to secure it. Here's the twist: Jay-Z hasn't responded. Not to the title payout accusations, not to the Super Bowl claims, not even to the karmic debt digs. In hip-hop, silence isn't golden, it's suspicious. At the top, you don't ignore threats, you crush them. So why the quiet? Some insiders say it's strategy. Jay-Z is letting Nicki dig her own grave. Others think it's fear. The more she talks, the more she exposes, making it harder to protect Roc Nation's secrets. But there's an even more dangerous possibility. What if Jay-Z isn't ignoring her at all? What if he's just waiting for the right moment to strike back? Because one thing we know about the man who built an empire from scratch, it's that he doesn't lose. He adapts. And if Nicki thinks she's the only one playing chess, she may be in for a surprise. Because this isn't just about her, it's about every artist who's ever felt trapped by a label, every rapper blacklisted for speaking out, every producer whose royalties disappeared into legal loopholes and corporate excuses. Nicki isn't just fighting for herself, she's challenging a system where executives hold the power while artists get the short end of the stick. If she wins, the entire industry could shift. But if she loses, the music business has a long history of making examples out of those who step out of line. So what does this mean? Nicki Minaj isn't just a rapper anymore, she's a whistleblower. And whether she knows it or not, she's just lit a fuse on something much bigger than herself. If the FBI starts asking questions, if more artists speak out, if the public demands transparency, Roc Nation's entire house of cards could collapse. And Jay-Z, he may be king, but even kings can fall. The big question is, who will be left standing when the dust finally settles? Now we want to hear from you. Is Nicki Minaj the underdog taking on a corrupt system? Or is she playing a dangerous game that could backfire? Could Desiree Perez's past hold the key to exposing Roc Nation's secrets? Or is it all smoke and mirrors? And most importantly, if Jay-Z decides to strike back, what will his next move be? Share your thoughts in the comments. This story is far from over. And trust us, you won't want to miss what comes next. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and keep it right here, where the truth always speaks louder than the lies. Peace.